Welcome back to another fun painting session with me. I'm working on Mole Man. This is Jim. I go by the handle of Left-Handed Minis, if you don't know. And interesting thing, I got a comment the other day that I was showing a mini with holding it with my right hand, which is true. I did do that. I always hold minis with my right hand because I paint with my left. So yeah, that just kind of makes sense. That I would hold the mini in my right hand. We're doing a little bit of I want to do a little more highlights on his bodysuit. I'm getting into kind of the olive green side of things now. Yeah, you got a lot of shots of just me mixing paint off camera. Well, let's actually put some paint on here. Make sure it's the right. Oh, it's a little thin for me, actually. I usually like it a little thicker. I know a lot of people say, thin your paints, but you know, that's only really part of the advice. It's really what you like. And you really gotta do what you know and what works for you. So if you don't like something, move this palette down a little bit. It's not gonna be fun to do. You're trying to do something that's not. If you're practicing a technique or something, that's different. That can be a fun exercise, but you know, eventually you kind of have to figure out what it is you like. This paint is really runny right now. It's almost on the verge of being a wash or a layer, which I don't love. I'm gonna work with it though. I don't love this consistency, so I might actually start over and try and mix some new stuff, clean out my brush, actually get a little fresh paint in there. It's got a nice round belly. I'm gonna highlight that. How nice and round his belly is. Okay. I'm not gonna go back over that until it dries fully. And I can, let's see, is this in focus? Yeah, it looks like it's in focus. maybe a lot of greens go on watery like this, and I just haven't noticed, but it's not my favorite when they do. How to get in there? Might need a smaller brush. No, that's okay. Did just dip my pinky in something. Ah, the gray. Alright, we'll need another layer of 2 of that green. We'll come back to that. I'm gonna do another pass at his skin. Not pass at his skin because we gave him a... Nope, Gorgon Brown was his hair. Maybe? Yeah, we give him a tan base coat. So I want to do just a little bit, one level. Let me check my reference pic. Yeah, he's got kind of front highlights all over his skin. This is a little more what I kind of assumed his... Actually, even this is a little dark for what I assumed his skin color would be. I really thought he'd be much more pale. Because I suppose I could make him very pale, but... Digging this music. because of this lighter green, kind of a goblin green. Actually, I think it is goblin green. Some weird coverage. I don't know. We'll see if the second coat actually does kind of what I want. I don't know. It's got some odd properties to it, that's for sure. I don't know if I just didn't mix it, shake it well, or what. I guess we'll just keep working on it until we get something we like. That was a lot of green, light green paint in there, wasn't it? Oh, and I forgot to put some that skin on his hands. We'll need that for sure. Alright, another layer, it's getting a little better. And I want to do some even better highlights on here. Probably a different green. That's the third layer of the charm. Maybe the third layer of the charm. Let's see, is that? That's starting to come out nicely. Oh, let's get some of that lighter skin on his hands. There's also something, I gotta look up in my reference pick what it is. There's something on his left hand. Sorry. There's something on his left hand that I'm not sure what it is. It's maybe like he's maybe it almost looks like his fingers are melting or something. I don't think that's it, but yeah, see this stuff seems like there's something on his hand. that is. Is it a glove? Is it part of his powers? So like some of these fingers are melting. Yeah, I don't know. Great question. What is that? Let me see what it looks like on. Well, I'm not going to worry about it for now, but it certainly looks suspicious. That light blue really comes out. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm holding my breath when I go into those tight spaces. It's very stressful. That's looking pretty good. I like doing some highlights and messing around. This is kind of the level I like, though. The more cel shaded comic book style ones. You don't have to blend them a ton. They just look fun when they pop out. Get this guy in here a little. That is a hard one to get to. Hard little angle, right? And get on his cape, but not his hand, and not his chest. Nice. Okay. And do some just straight goblin green highlights. Maybe a little smaller. His chest. And these ones you want the lines to start getting a little more precise. That might not be bright enough. I might have to do another mix. Yeah, I don't think that's bright enough to tell the difference. I think that's just gonna look like another coat. So I'll go get some actual Scorpy green. That's what it's called, by the way. Scorpy green. I think it's a kind of a fun. Some of the names of these paints don't really make sense. But hey. Who am I to complain? Tone for the skin, highlights too. And these ones, maybe I will have a little. The man has alopecia, or nah, those are his eyebrows. I just gotta get to them. So we're just gonna do front lighting on his face. Just like he's got a beam right on him, and it's lighten it up if you think they're nice teeth, and darken it down or yellow it up if you think they're not. Let me get a little bit. Oh, I don't want it. Yeah, maybe it's. Boo. I dropped a brush. Well, you can hear the clanks and stuff, but that's what that is. It's me dropping brushes in the background. There's some pretty good teeth, if I do say so myself. Mole man. You're looking pretty good. Alright, I need to figure out what is on his hand. Oh, I'm gonna put some washes on before I forget and I do the fun. Let's see, what should I do? I think everything should be a little bit brownish colored, right? Try not to bump through too much while I get my brown wash. What's that? Blue? Umber wash. There we go. I think we'll do a little umber wash. Just to gently shake the washes. I'll do some umber on him. Some people use a different palette for this, but I'm feeling kind of lazy, so I will use a different brush, though. Not a nice brush, kind of a flat brush. Alright, let's see. So I want to do it on his stick. I might need to use a black wash on his stick for it to bring out any details. I can do that in a sec. But I will use it on the base too, so you can see it start to bring out a bunch of the there. It's always fun. It's fun to do some washes. And as they dry, they kind of change. They seep into the lower levels, and you don't get a whole lot on the top, but you get a bunch in the cracks, which is kind of the point. And I'll probably go back and clean up these. There's some spots here that I need to put some extra stuff on too. Yeah, I definitely need a black wash on his. Luckily, I have a black wash. This one might be on its last legs. Let me see. Nope, still a little in there. Okay, get some of this brown wash off. Just don't need it. I thought there were more details on this stick of his, but maybe not. Yeah, there's some lines. They're mostly in the back though, which is kind of a weird choice. Maybe we'll see him a little bit more when it dries. Well, he's looking pretty good for now. Wash is on. Still want to put my Scorpy Green third layer of highlights on. Let me do that actually before I call it a day. Let's do some Scorpy Green. Oh yeah. This is what I was looking for. Some fun, really light green highlights. Really punch up his belly. Really punch up the belly. It's fun. I really like these kind of highlights. They end up looking so cool. And you only get to these like at the very end. You gotta do all this work to get to the point where you can even start to talk about highlights like these. Such a painstaking process, but one that for some reason I find myself really enjoying. I don't really know why, but I do. There, that's really punched up his belly a little bit. Go back through and cut in with some of that darker green, but man, he's starting to come together. Okay. Ooh, get that. See that? There's a bunch of wash pooling there. But if it's not dry, you can just suck it off with a clean brush. That's kind of the fun thing about washes. So you can kind of keep moving them around. Yeah, did that get... I'm not sure that got what I wanted it to on here. Or maybe there's just not a lot to get. I don't know. Let that dry a little. Let's see. Alright, there's a little more of an old man. He's getting there. What do I have left to do? I got a little more work on his face, maybe some facial hair, highlights on his hair, his glasses. I'm gonna make those a little more silvery. I need to figure out what's going on with this hand. Why is it kind of gnarly like that? Touch up some of the base. And yeah, he is almost ready. Thanks for watching.